What's up, guys? How y'all doing? I have returned for a recap video of the Birmingham Supercross, the first time we raced in Birmingham. And I'm going to be doing just the 250 class today. And I'm going to do the 450 class another day, kind of taking a page out of Cooksey's book. So, hey, Cooksey, shout out. And anyway, I was very surprised by all the action that went down. And the Birmingham track actually turned out to not be a mud fest like Jason Wygant called it. Like Jason Wygant called it. But anyway, that actually made for some really good racing. And I'm glad that we didn't have a sloshy kind of track like we had, or even like we had at San Diego, or even a quagmire like we had at San Francisco earlier this season. But anyway, you guys, just remember, subscribe. That's how my channel grows. I want to keep my monetization status. I want to get a lot of views too. So if you think I'm worth listening to, just hit the subscribe button. If you want to see any more of my other videos, whether it be on Supercross, Hawaii basketball, or softball, or even some of my game show games, just hit the subscribe button. But anyway, I appreciate it. So let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. That's right. Tom Vialle goes back to back. And you also see this here. I mean what I say on this one. Haiden Deegan crossed many lines, and he essentially earns a black mark in my book as far as a rider is concerned. I mean, really, I'm going to talk, but before I get to Haiden Deegan, I'm going to talk about Tom Vialle first. Now, obviously, they took out the whoop section mainly because of the rain that came in, as Cooksey had said. But still, I thought that was an okay move, because those, you could kind of call that as kind of like little rollers, or it's kind of like a rhythm whoop section. I guess you could put it that way, because I mean, taking out the whoops, that was probably the right move. But of course, you always want to err on the side of caution. But still, I thought that was an okay move. I probably would have done the same thing if I was on the Dirtworks crew. But still, it made for some great racing, and it also kind of served as another mini rhythm section there. Or you could also have those kind of rhythm whoops like we saw in Indianapolis in 2004. But anyway, Tom Vialle going back to back. I actually did not predict that. Now, I did not do a prediction video this time, mainly because I had gotten really wrapped up in kind of chasing my dream of attending Hawaii basketball and Hawaii softball, and doing recaps of those, at least until I can find some work. But still, anyway, as far as this race goes, I was actually pretty surprised that Tom Vialle went back to back. Now, obviously, Vialle would generally be used to those kinds of conditions, theoretically anyway, coming from France. But hey, I mean, to each his own, because Vialle was actually really composed. And when you get that first win, that'll do wonders for your confidence. And Vialle backed that up. And would I have picked Vialle to win? No, I wouldn't have. Who did I think was going to win? I had a feeling it might be one of the Pro Circuit dudes, mainly Cameron McAdoo, but it seemed like he just couldn't stay away from all kinds of stupid things that are happening on the track, like what happened with Nick Romano. And that wasn't McAdoo's fault. I'm not holding that against him, but I'm definitely not holding anything against Romano, because that was clearly a racing incident. Romano was not at fault. McAdoo was not at fault, but still, it's good on McAdoo and Hammaker to be able to pick up the slack with Austin Fortner on the sidelines once again. And quite frankly, I still feel for Austin Fortner, and my heart still aches for him too, because I don't know if, like I said in a past video, I don't know if Austin Fortner was grateful that he survived that crash, or if he was devastated that that's another Supercross season down the toilet. But still, when you got a guy down, you got to step up. And McAdoo and Hammaker are certainly doing that. Hammaker most notably, especially after what happened in the opener in Detroit. And some were saying that Hammaker kind of caused that. And I don't know. I'm staying out of that one, but still, where I stand on it. But still, I also find it very good that Hammaker was able to rebound after that pretty bad heat race where Haiden Deegan kind of cut over and got the inside line on him and sent them careening into the Monster Energy sign. And you know what? That was a racing incident, but I do think that Haiden Deegan kind of instigated everything, and Hammaker was a victim for sure. And really, if you're Haiden Deegan, you do not want to make enemies that early in the night, really, because you already made yourself public enemy number one in some people's purviews. And still, I don't think it really stopped there for Haiden Deegan. And while Haiden Deegan still remains my pick for the championship, it's starting to become more and more likely that Haiden is not going to be the champion. I mean, he is not out of it, but still, if I'm him right now, I'm looking at trying to avoid trouble from now on, because really, you don't want to make yourself public enemy number one and think that what you did was right, and everything that you did just kind of excuses everything that you've been through all season long. And as far as Hammaker goes, he wasn't at fault. I mean, if he were pissed off in the trailer, I would understand that. But bringing myself to the point about being pissed off in the trailer, that's where I think Haiden Deegan really, really crossed the line there. I mean, if it's one thing to check on your competitor, see if he's okay, and to kind of say, hey, sorry about that. But still, for Haiden Deegan, the way that he reacted, kind of pushing Hammaker's bike down. Now, I have to say that was where I think Deegan really crossed the line, was the start of Haiden Deegan really crossing the line, crossing all the lines that he did, in my opinion. And that right there earned a black mark in my book. Now I will say this. That is not unheard of. And unfortunately, Chad Reed is kind of guilty of that only one time. And that was at Steel City in 2004, involving Joaquin Rodriguez. How do I know that? Because I still have all these races that I posted on YouTube. But still, I still think that did that earn a black mark in my book with Chad Reed then? Yeah, but you can kind of understand where he's coming from, because he was trying to beat Carmichael, and that right there did not help matters. But I don't agree with Reed doing that back then. But at the same time, I can understand why he did, especially when he was running out of chances to beat Carmichael and Ricky Carmichael in 2004 motocross, especially with one race remaining, and that was Glen Helen. But still, that's legit. But still, in a way, that's legit. This one with Haiden Deegan, not so much. But still, Haiden Deegan, you can't blame him for being upset, but still, when you cross over and when you cross in front of a guy on his outside, you can almost guarantee that that's not going to work, especially when everybody bottlenecks up. When everybody bottlenecks up like that, the number one task at hand should just be staying on your bike. That's the thing. And if you're going to try to make a pass on someone, that's cool. I mean, but if things like that happen with Haiden Deegan hooking up bikes with Seth Hammaker, yeah, that's a racing incident. And is anybody at fault? Not really. But I just think that Haiden Deegan really crossed the line when he threw Hammaker's bike down. That was strike one. And then strike two in my book was when he paid the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team a visit looking for Seth Hammaker. Because although they both had to go to the LCQ, Haiden Deegan should not have done that, really. I mean, if it was one thing to apologize, okay. But still, if you're looking to settle a score with someone, you just made yourself public enemy number one, pal. And really, I really don't agree with guys who do that. James Stewart did that in Phoenix 2010 after Chad Reed tried to make a pass on him and they both went down. I still think that James Stewart really crossed the line. And little things that I had read on Racer X was that he kicked over Chad Reed's motorcycle when Chad Reed wasn't even there. But still, as far as Birmingham, as this current incident is concerned, Haiden Deegan, you really made yourself public enemy number one that night. And it didn't even stop there. I mean, especially, he made it out of the LCQ. Hammaker won it. And by the way, kudos to Hammaker as well for nailing the start on the outside. Because the start is key in the LCQ. And if you start on the outside, unless your bike had trouble, which was the case with Seth Hammaker, more oftentimes than not, unless you do what Hammaker did, your start is pretty much hooped. And but still, Hammaker pulled it off. I was a little concerned why Nick Romano pulled out. I don't know if he got hurt or something, or if he felt that, well, no main event for me, so he just decided to pull out. Don't want to speculate on that. But anyway, as far as Deegan is concerned, Cody Schock, I think you also made yourself public enemy. But as far as with Cody Schock is concerned, Haiden Deegan made himself public enemy number one yet again, especially when it's someone from your own tent, when you're on the same bike. Well, technically not the same bike, but you're both on Yamahas. That right there, that move that Haiden Deegan did on Cody Schock was really, really uncalled for. In football, that's unnecessary roughness. And especially when you consider that move has now put Cody Schock on the sidelines. But I guarantee you, when the shoe's on the other foot, Cody Schock is not going to shy away from putting Haiden Deegan into the tough blocks. And if that happens to him, you know what they say, you live by this, as Davey Coombs once said, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And if Cody Schock puts Haiden Deegan down, then that's when you can legitimately say that payback's a bitch. And like I said, Haiden Deegan, you better be on your toes, brah, because like I said, you made yourself public enemy number one that night. And while I respect Haiden Deegan, on the track, the only thing that really stands out why he has earned a black mark against him is how he handled it. Now, I can understand you could be now if you're angry with yourself, that's one thing, but still, when you go the lengths that Haiden Deegan did, more than likely, you're going to make a ton of enemies, pal. And still, I mean, it's one thing to get your nose dirty and at least do it without having to put somebody down. Now, now some people would ask me, was that aggressive? That was aggressive, but then again, and that's something that I don't know if I would have done, but still, I still think that Deegan could certainly have made the pass without instigating any contact. Would I have done the same? Would I have gone to the inside like Deegan did? Certainly, especially with Cody Schock leaving the door open on the final lap. But would I have put the guy down? No, not at all. Because really, that's the last lap. It's the last lap. If it was the last chance, okay. But still, in the main event, it's the final turn, and you got to earn every position that you can get. You can make the pass on the guy without even instigating the contact. And that incident right there, Haiden Deegan would certainly have made the pass without even touching Cody's shot. And now look what you did to him. So that's why I think that Haiden Deegan has made himself public enemy number one. But still, we're moving on. I respect him for trying it. But at the same time, you made yourself a lot of enemies. And when the shoe's on the other foot, you can bet your booties that Cody Schock is not going to shy away from taking a shot at him. Is not, like I said, if the shoe's on the other foot, Cody Schock, he ain't going to shy away from taking a crack at Haiden Deegan. And then if Cody Schock does what he does and Haiden Deegan ends up on the ground, then that's when they can say, okay, now we're even. So hopefully, I also want to discuss Seth Hammaker coming back for a third place. The guy was never really fazed by anything, and I respect that from Hammaker. And I got to say, if there's one time where I think that he's going to get back on the winning track, he's pretty close. He hasn't won a race in 2 years. Well, actually 3 because of the COVID year. But still, Hammaker can win races. And if this guy can just get a good start, I wouldn't rule out him taking a win. Same goes for Cameron McAdoo. And McAdoo just has to stay away from stupid things on the track. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. I thought I'd just cover the 250 class. I'll do the 450 class a little later in the week. You'll also see recaps of Hawaii men's basketball senior night against Cal State Bakersfield, and you will see some shots there from the game. I'm also going to do a recap of UH softball versus Cleveland State, and that'll also come later in the week. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe. I will catch you all later for the 450 video.